Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm excited to keep talking more about Kirby Air Riders. But in this video, I'm also going to be talking about Metroid Prime 4 and what they need to do in order to really get people excited and on board with them. And I'm going to be talking a lot about them versus Kirby Air Riders. Now look, I'm not trying to really like pit Nintendo versus Nintendo here, kind of like how you had these goofballs like, Nintendo Land and all of them. Just, doing that and making these stupid videos acting like, Kirby Air Riders is not a Nintendo game. But this is a topic that needs to be discussed because right now it would seem like we have, certain so-called Nintendo fans who are just choosing to blatantly ignore Kirby Air Riders. They're choosing not to talk about it. They're choosing to act like the game doesn't exist. And instead they're choosing to just keep talking about Metroid Prime 4. And I think it's because they have this bitterness towards the game. They have this bitterness towards Kirby Air Riders and Nintendo because they just see Nintendo promoting the game heavily and not talking too much about Metroid Prime 4. But here's the thing. Anybody who is actually using their brain and thinking critically should realize that it makes zero sense to talk about Metroid Prime 4 before the release of Kirby Air Riders. Once Kirby Air Riders comes out and it's been out for like 2 weeks, I would say, then you can start doing an information blowout on Metroid Prime 4. But right now, they shouldn't be doing that. They should be focusing all of their attention on Kirby Air Riders, and you know what? We should be happy that they are doing that because the game is freaking awesome and is jam-packed with lots of content. Now, some of these guys or whatever who are doing this, it makes me question whether, they actually like video games or not. It makes me question, if they truly are a Nintendo fan or if they're just all about, the hype behind a big name game, right? Because right now, look, Metroid Prime 4, even though I really want to get the game and I'm hoping it's going to be a huge hit, there has not been anything about that game that is really like screaming to me that it's going to be an awesome, a really epic game. There has been some cool stuff shown to us in the most recent direct, but is there going to be multiplayer? Is it going to have as much content or close to having as much content as Kirby Air Riders? Now here's the thing, all right, since you guys are just being petty right now and you're choosing to ignore Kirby Air Riders, I am going to call this out and I'm going to call you guys out and I'm going to compare Metroid Prime 4 to Kirby Air Riders. And we're going to see which game looks like it's going to be a far better bang for your buck, and which one isn't so far. Now look, again, they might announce online multiplayer for Metroid Prime 4. That has yet to be seen, okay? But so far, what we've seen has been a bit kind of lackluster, but we have gotten a lot for Kirby Air Riders and you guys are choosing to ignore it. So, it kind of shows that you guys are lame. You guys really aren't, video gamers. You're not really Nintendo fans. You do all of this for, hype, your YouTube channel and all of that. So one of the guys who has been doing this, who has been ignoring Kirby Air Riders and just has only been talking about Metroid Prime 4, that would be Andre's Restart over here. And this was a post that he did about 6 days ago. And he says, I hope no one has the gall to suggest Metroid Prime 4 is not worth the price. If you want to argue Pokemon, whatever, dude, to each their own. Prime 4 is going to be worth like $600. Or for me personally, unquantifiable. Okay, so he makes this goofball comment or whatever. This was 6 days ago. This was before the Kirby Air Riders presentation. Now, I responded to this. I don't know what happened to my response. It seems like it disappeared. So I don't know if he deleted it. I don't know if it just didn't go through. I haven't been on Twitter that long. I've only been on Twitter very recently, so can't really say what's going on there. But let me just read a second part of this post. Like he responds to his own post. Price of Switch 2 console plus Switch 2 edition plus game plus tax plus tip $600 equals $600 or whatever. Yeah, whatever, who cares? But anyways, yeah, so he made this ridiculous post or whatever before the Kirby Air Riders presentation dropped. Kirby Air Riders presentation dropped, and not a single video from him about Kirby Air Riders. Didn't react to it, didn't make a video talking about how awesome it was. As you can see here on his YouTube channel, we scroll down to videos, most recent video. I just played Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment early. Next one is Crazy Zelda Secrets tease in this Age of Imprisonment trailer. The greatest Nintendo Twitter Direct is happening. So that's just a bunch of news on Twitter or something like that. This was 4 days ago. New Metroid Prime 4 gameplay just leaked. This was 6 days ago. Whoa! New Metroid Prime 4 art, mechanics, and more just revealed. Yeah, very boring information. Who cares about that? But yeah, as you see, he has not made a video talking about the Kirby Air Riders presentation. He's just completely ignoring that, and he's choosing to talk about Metroid Prime 4 and Age of Imprisonment. I do think I will get Age of Imprisonment, even though it's not really on my mind. It seems more like a decent game or whatever, but doesn't seem anywhere near as awesome as Kirby Air Riders. Let me just say that, okay? But I probably will get it because it does look good. It does look, you know, it looks like a very well-made game, and hopefully the resolution and all that should be really good. You know, the frames per second, the performance, all of that stuff. So, all right, cool. So he's not just talking about Metroid, he's also talking about Age of Imprisonment. But again, he's choosing to completely ignore Kirby Air Riders, and I think that's just petty. I just think that's him having bitterness towards them. And let me just say this, you got to be a real piece of crap to ignore an awesome game like that from Masahiro Sakurai, considering all the work that Masahiro Sakurai put into making that game what it is. All right, that guy is a living legend. I mean, we don't have enough game developers like him. We need more people like Masahiro Sakurai. And so for people to just be acting petty towards him and ignoring his game, putting it off or whatever, that just really pisses me off as somebody who loves video games, real video games that are fun. Look, I don't care if you're just so in love with Metroid Prime 4 and the lore of it, the story, okay? You call yourself a video gamer and you call yourself a Nintendo fan, but then you're gonna just choose to sleep on a game like that, I'm gonna say you're full of shit, period. Because a game like that has everything for everybody, literally. Masahiro Sakurai went the extra 10 freaking miles to make sure that game could be accessible and fun to just about everybody and anybody. That's a fact, okay? You guys out there who don't care for online multiplayer or multiplayer in general, or arcadey type video games, that's another thing. People act like arcadey games aren't good. Well, Masahiro Sakurai makes the best and most legendary arcadey video games. And you know, if you're not a fan of that, okay, that's one thing. He also threw in a story mode. He threw in an adventure mode, okay? And it looks like it's gonna be really fun. And you know what? He didn't spoil anything either. And it looks like it's gonna have some really deep lore going into it. So it absolutely just pisses me off that, you know, you got these entitled people out there that are just like, yeah, I don't care about that game because Nintendo's not talking more about Metroid Prime 4. Once again, if that's your thinking, that's your logic, you're just being stupid because they shouldn't be talking about that game until Kirby Air Riders releases. It does very well, and then we can move on. We could start really pushing hard to get people on board with Metroid Prime 4. And I really, really hope that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have the amount of content and replayability that Kirby Air Riders has. I really hope so, because I do want Metroid to become an A-list franchise just like Mario, and I want the same for Kirby. But unfortunately, you guys don't see it that way. You guys are just being, you know, bitter-ass losers against Masahiro Sakurai and his Kirby Air Riders game. I think that's just a joke. Let me check really quick on his live real quick. So the last time he did a live video or live stream, that was 6 days ago, so that was before the second presentation happened, and I think all he did was he was just talking with some other person or whatever about the upcoming events or whatever. But you know, he didn't give his he didn't do a live reaction or anything cool like that to the presentation. Just, you know, completely dismissing and ignoring the game, and that absolutely pisses me off. But yeah, so with that being said, let me just get into what the topic really is supposed to be about. Right now, this is my most anticipated game, Kirby Air Riders, and for great reason. If you watch this presentation, anyone who has watched it, again, you will know that this game has something for everybody, okay? You're not a fan of multiplayer, okay, it's got a great story mode. You're not a fan of this top ride that Masahiro Sakurai is playing, okay, don't worry, there's like 30 other different game modes. Alright, this is gonna be the most fun game, and to me, the way this game looks, it's like a combination of Super Smash Bros., Mario Kart and Mario Party, and Kirby all rolled into one. Now, because this game is not a big name game, and because it's not like a crossover game that has other characters from other video game franchises, I think people are just like dismissing it because it's just a Kirby universe, and I just find that to be very shallow and one-dimensional, how you're just gonna not even invest any time into this because it doesn't have, you know, it doesn't have Link from The Legend of Zelda, it doesn't have Samus Aran, it doesn't have Kid Icarus, or it doesn't have some stupid Sonic character, it doesn't have Pac-Man. Like, that's all a bunch of garbage, okay? Yes, crossover games can be fun, but I wish more games would be treated like this, where it just has this much content and accessibility and replayability added to it. Now, because this game exists, all right? Because this game exists and because it is so awesome, there is absolutely no excuse for Metroid Prime 4 to not have any online multiplayer. There is no excuse for Metroid Prime 4 to just have nothing but a really good story mode, story campaign, and that's it. There's really no excuse at all, whatsoever. It could be a really good, really great story, but if there's no other things, if there's no PvE, PvP, VE, if there's no like, if there's no like different modes, I mean, forget multiplayer. If there's not like a bunch of awesome single player modes and single player, you know, games to play, like some type of survival mode where you're going through waves of enemies, or you're having to escape from, you know, the planet getting blown up or something, and you're having to like fight monsters along the way. If there's no cool stuff like that, I'm gonna be very disappointed in Retro Studios. I'm gonna be very disappointed because here's the thing, Masahiro Sakurai, look at everything he has given us in the last 10 years. As a matter of fact, no, let's just go all the way back to 2014 when Retro Studios gave us Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. All right, let's go all the way back to that point, because I remember that was like the one game that they have made, and since that, just a Metroid Prime 1 remastered, right? But since February 2014, when that game came out, Masahiro Sakurai and Sora has given us Super Smash Bros. 4 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And Super Smash Bros. 4, if you guys don't remember, it wasn't just for the Wii U, he made a 3DS version, okay? And that 3DS version, it had its own unique modes in that one game. It had, I think it had 2 different modes, as a matter of fact. It may have had different characters as well. Can't really remember, but those came out in 2014. Then in 2018, we ended up getting Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and a crap ton of ongoing DLC, fighter passes, all the way to like 2021. All right. And now we are about to get yet another awesome freaking game from him, which is Kirby Air Riders. So from 2021 all the way up until now, 2025, he has probably been working on Kirby Air Riders for 3 to 4 years, I would say. So probably maybe 3 years or so. And in that time, he was able to make this really awesome freaking game. But look at that, okay? He arguably, if you're counting the games on the 3DS and the Wii U, I mean, that's like he's given us pretty much 3 Super Smash Brothers games. 3 Super Smash Brothers games and a whole bunch of DLC content that kept going all the way until 2021. All right? And then you look at Retro Studios, and ever since Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, one Metroid Prime remastered game in 2023, and that was it. So not even a brand new game, just a remastered Metroid Prime game. That is a freaking joke. All right, that is an absolute joke. The fact that Masahiro Sakurai gave us that much more content, that much more games, the best fighting game, he gave us like the best fighting game ever, the greatest fighting game, greatest selling fighting game of all time. And yet Retro Studios, the studio that is supposedly Nintendo's most talented studio, could only give us one game, and it's not even a new game, it's just Metroid Prime being remastered, and that's it. That really tells me that Masahiro Sakurai is the one who is the more talented game developer, not Retro Studios. So here's the deal. I want people who are Metroid fans, who are more excited for Metroid Prime 4, to tell me why you're more excited for it. Tell me why you think Retro Studios is more talented than Masahiro Sakurai and his team, Sora. I want you guys to really explain to me why you think that is. And I want to hear your excuse for why it is that they couldn't give us anything but a remastered game since 2014. Why is it that the most talented studio could only give us one remastered game since 2014, and yet Masahiro Sakurai, he was able to make the greatest fighting series, and he was able to make 3 different ones since 2024, and now he's already giving us this really awesome game, and we're getting Metroid Prime 4, finally getting Metroid Prime 4 from Retro Studios all these years later. Okay, look, yeah, they picked up the game 6 years ago when Nintendo took it away from Bandai Namco. But still, when you just look at the history and you see how they just have not, their output has been so lackluster, somebody's got to point that out and say, hey, look, they've been very disappointing. And you know what? They have no excuse for that. There is no excuse whatsoever. They got a team of 200 people. What the hell have they been doing all this time? And people say, well, you know, they had a couple games canceled. It happens, okay? You know, games get canceled. They shouldn't be happening like that. Why is it that games are not being canceled by Masahiro Sakurai, but they're being canceled by Retro Studios? And what kind of games were they making that ended up getting canceled? I mean, what kind of lame crap were they doing that the game just ended up being canned? Anyways, let's move on from that. Again, right now, people are doing, I would say, damage control for Retro Studios in the sense that they're pretty much trying to condition us to not be angry with Retro Studios if there is no online multiplayer added. If all it is just a single player experience, they're telling us that's fine, that's all it needs to be, that's all Metroid Prime is, don't expect anything else, because if they were to work on online multiplayer or anything else like that, it's going to take away from the single player experience, or it's going to take away development time from working on a single player campaign. Okay, let me just remind you guys that Kirby Air Riders, this Kirby Air Riders game that Masahiro Sakurai has been working on for the last 3 or 4 years, It's gonna have story mode, it's gonna have online multiplayer, it's gonna have all kinds of other fun modes attached to it. It's gonna have all, I didn't even talk about this, it's gonna have all these insane in-game customizations, all right? Being able to completely customize your machine, like, and there's just so much you can do. Like the customization, you know, is very in-depth customization that you can do with these machines. You can sell it on a market as well. So there's like a machine market, and you can buy other people's, you know, custom made design machines and whatnot. I mean, it just, there's really no excuse for Retro Studios to not be able to give us an online multiplayer, to not be able to give us in-game customizations and all this other cool stuff. And look, I'm sick and tired of people pretending to be against that, pretending like that's a bad idea. Like, are you stupid? Are you against options? Why do you hate options? Why do you hate video games that give you more things to do, that give you more options? Games that are extremely accessible. Why would you pretend to be against that? Other than the fact that you were so high on this Metroid game, you just want to pretend that it's going to be great no matter what. Now again, the reason why I am doing this video is because you got fools who just want to ignore Kirby Air Riders and act like it's nothing to care about while, you know, glazing the hell out of Metroid Prime 4. And look, I understand you want to be excited for Metroid Prime 4 and you want to hear more about it, but, you know, to just be a complete pansy ass and ignore a great game like Kirby Air Riders, that really pisses me off. And so I'm just going to make this video, I'm just going to say it. Retro Studios is nowhere near as talented as Masahiro Sakurai, and that's a damn fact, okay? And if you say otherwise, you're full of shit. Because it's not even, you can't even say, well, that's just my opinion. No, it's bullshit. It is complete BS, 100%. It is an objective fact at this point that Masahiro Sakurai is a way better game developer than Retro Studios. That is just such a fact, okay? And you know what? I'll even say this, the Mario team, they're a way better studio. They're far more talented. Look at everything they've done. Super Mario Odyssey and then Donkey Kong Bonanza. Dude, they gave us like two of the greatest 3D platformers ever. Everyone thought like Super Mario Odyssey was one of the best things ever. Then they come out with Donkey Kong Bonanza, and that game just completely dwarfs Super Mario Odyssey. Some people try to act like it's on par or Super Mario Odyssey is like arguably better. No, it's not. No, it's not. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a huge step up. That team, that Mario team or whatever, they're extremely talented. I'm more impressed with them than Retro Studios. And I just cannot really believe that people still praise Retro Studios or give them the benefit of the doubt. It's almost like nobody just wants to criticize them at all. And I don't know why. Because they deserve more criticism than anybody else out there working with Nintendo. They really do. Their output has been atrocious. Completely atrocious. I just don't understand how, you know, people could pretend they're the most talented studio. And of course, the number one reason people praise them, and it's the most stupid reason. It's because of graphics and visuals. You look at the games and wow, look how good it looks. Look at the graphics. I remember when we got the first reveal of Metroid Prime 4, and that's all people were talking about. They were just drooling over how pretty it looked. And I'm just like, this game looks boring. The enemies look so boring. They're just so stupid and one-dimensional. They're just your typical dumb NPCs with very limited animations and movement, and they're just no threat to you whatsoever. They are so easy to just run through. but people just, they didn't care. They were just like, look at how beautiful it is. Look at the reflections on Samus's arm cannon. And I'm just like, dude, I don't care about that. I'm so sick and tired of gamers who say they don't care about graphics, and yet they praise a game for its graphics. They praise a game for its damn graphics, even though you guys say you don't care about graphics. Yet you, time and time again, you're gonna praise a damn game for it. And the best example of this, of people, saying they don't care about graphics, but then, their actions completely contradicted, is, these idiots on the internet crying about the Pokemon game. Just crying about the damn Pokemon game and like, oh, it doesn't look good, and look at the graphics, whatever, and there's no reflection off of the windows and things of that nature. But then you have a whole bunch of other people saying the gameplay is solid, the gameplay is great. Now, I'm not even a Pokemon fan. I am not a Pokemon fan, so I didn't really care when people were bashing on it. But it was funny to see how the game still sold 6 million copies, and after it did, there were a lot of people in the comment section saying, don't listen to all these idiots who didn't play the video game. It's actually a fun video game, despite the visuals being outdated and really lame. And they do look outdated. They do look pretty lame. I mean, I don't like how most of the Pokemon, they don't really look that big in comparison to the actual humans around them. But maybe I need to actually look at more video footage of the game, but I don't know, they look relatively small. Like, I'm talking about the Pokemon that are supposed to be big, but whatever. You guys get the point, okay? The game, people are praising it because the gameplay's fun. Other people are crapping on it because, oh, look at how it looks. Terrible graphics, outdated, very outdated visuals. So, it just goes to show you how fake so many people are. It's like, all we care about is gameplay, but then they crap on a game for its graphics. They overpraise a studio just because that studio is good with making their games look pretty. I'm so sick of that. Look, this Kirby Air Riders game looks really good, okay? It looks really good. Level designs look amazing. Look at this right here on the screen. I mean, this is the thing I was telling you about, the machine market where you could create your own machine. It's called My Machine. It looks really nice, okay? It's not like just these photorealistic graphics or anything. Who the hell cares about that? The graphics are good enough. The level designs look great. Like, you look at the 18 tracks, they look really nice. They look really nice. The game's visuals are amazing in this game. They don't have to be super photorealistic or anything like that. But some people, it's amazing how fickle people are, One moment, oh, it's about gameplay, but yeah, let's praise Metroid Prime 4 to the moon because of its visuals. And as a matter of fact, there were people who were hating on the last trailer for Metroid Prime 4 because of graphics. And I'm just like, would y'all shut up about that? Like, people were crying because, oh, those graphics look kind of rough in the open area. It looked like trash. The graphics didn't look good. I'm like, shut up. Honestly, just shut up. I mean, they're showing you all of this, like, these big open fields and everything. They're showing Samus run on a motorcycle and you're over here crying about the damn graphics. Like, shut up. Look, guys, I really hope it's going to be a great game. I hope Retro Studios ends up giving us the greatest, most fun Metroid game. We got that stupid Halo game that everybody's talking about that's going to PlayStation 5, and it turns out that game don't even have no damn online multiplayer. It got no multiplayer whatsoever. I think that's pretty fucking hilarious, all right? And people are gonna pay $70 just to play a boring campaign, a Halo campaign, right? This is the perfect opportunity for Retro Studios to make the next big multiplayer game that first-person shooters have been craving, especially the Xbox fans. All of the Xbox fans, the die-hard Xbox fans who are just absolutely pissed off right now with Xbox, because Xbox and Microsoft has pretty much just pissed all over them. Like the fucking scumbags that they are, they've pretty much shown the whole world that they hate their own fans by just embarrassing them and humiliating them. You had that stupid campaign manager wearing a PlayStation shirt as they announced that Halo is going to the PlayStation 5. man, I really hope they lose all of their Game Pass subscriptions, their Game Pass subscribers. I hope they all just sell their Xbox and get a Nintendo Switch too. And I really hope that Retro Studios makes a video game that's gonna make Xbox and make Halo fans happy again. If Metroid Prime 4 ends up having like just a super awesome, fun, you know, multiplayer campaign, that's another thing. They could have like a multiplayer campaign as well in some way or whatever. I mean, if they just have more things than just a single player experience or just a story mode, you know, it's gonna be like great for the franchise itself. I want Metroid to become an A-list franchise. So I want them to have more than just a single player experience. It can't just be, look, it's a great single player game with great graphics. No, it's gotta be more than that, guys. It's gotta be more. Let me just finish by saying this, okay? Unlike most of you guys who keep saying that you don't want Metroid Prime 4 to have multiplayer, you don't want it to have this because, you know, forget about anybody else, forget about any other gamers. It's got to be exclusive to you in the sense that it's got to be just, you know, locked in its own little box, in its own little bubble, where it's just going to be the same thing that you've always enjoyed and people should just enjoy that. Masahiro Sakurai, you know, one of the things that made me really love and appreciate him and really made me love this game right here, this awesome Kirby Air Riders game, is the fact that he put every single thing in the game for every person, including modes that were arguably considered to be throwaway modes that people said, oh yeah, that mode sucked, we don't need it. You know what Masahiro Sakurai said to those people? Shut up, I'm gonna make it anyways because there are people out there who actually enjoyed it. I'm talking about that top ride mode. All right, this top ride mode right here that you're seeing that Masahiro is talking about, you know, he says in this part or whatever, he says, surely we would be forgiven if we had left this mode out of the game. Because maybe more than half of the people who played this game didn't care for top ride mode. There's still a lot of people who say, yeah, that's a throwaway mode, that mode sucked, it was terrible, this, that, and the other, right? But there's a lot of hardcore Kirby fans who loved the mode. And so it doesn't matter if there was like 100,000 people who loved the mode and the rest of the 1 million people out there didn't like it, didn't care for it. Masahiro Sakurai was just like, shut up, I am making this game for everybody. All right? Everybody gets to have fun. Everybody gets to enjoy the things they loved. He brought back all of the tracks from the original game as well. I mean, this guy, he pretty much brought everything back to satisfy everybody's needs. He didn't just say, okay, what do the majority of Kirby Air Rider fans like and don't like? And I'm just gonna go from there. I'm not gonna care about the small minority of fans who enjoyed this game who also enjoyed Top Ride or whatever. Nah, I'm only gonna put what's necessary and leave out the games that weren't as popular. No, he didn't do that. He considered everybody, okay? He considered everybody, and I wish more game developers had this mindset. I'm glad that Masahiro Sakurai thinks this way and doesn't think the way that most of you goofballs think, where you're just like being so one-dimensional and you're just like, forget everybody else, you know? We just want Metroid Prime 4 to be Metroid Prime 4. Like, screw you. Screw you for having that mentality. You know, people like you absolutely freaking suck. I'm glad Masahiro Sakurai is not like you whatsoever. I'm really hoping Retro Studios is gonna be more like Masahiro Sakurai, and they're just gonna like make this the most fun game. They're gonna make it appealing to as many people as possible, not just the one-dimensional Metroid Prime fans who think that this game needs to be just Metroid Prime all over again. Anyways, I want to hear from you Metroid Prime 4 fans, people who are hyped for that game. If you love both of these games, if you're excited for both, I want to hear from you too. I want to hear from just about everybody that this concerns, all right? I want to hear from just as many people as possible. What do you think? Do you disagree? Do you agree with me? Are you gonna defend Retro Studios? Do you think there's a chance that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have more than just a single player experience? Do you think they should? Will you be disappointed in them if all they have is just a single player experience? Given the fact that they've been working on the game for 6 years, okay? They've been working on that game 2 or 3 years longer than Masahiro Sakurai has been working on this Kirby Air Riders game. And so for it to not have as much content in it, don't you think that would be very disappointing? Don't you think they would kind of suck for that? Don't you think that they should lose that title of being Nintendo's most talented studio? Right now, I think Masahiro Sakurai is one of the most talented when it comes to Nintendo. Because you know what? He is still Nintendo. He's friends with Nintendo. He works only with Nintendo. I know stupid people want to act like he's no longer with Nintendo. That's a bunch of BS. So he is still with Nintendo, okay? But anyways, guys, just give me your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like, even if you disagree and don't like the video, just hit like anyways, and share this video with as many people as possible, and let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about what Metroid Prime 4 needs to do, or whether Metroid Prime 4 needs to have as much content as this game or close to it. Okay? Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.